Have you ever seen it? An ancient forest regaining its strength. A majestic bear free to roam the ice. The rainbow of a renewing reef. Have you ever heard it? Wings returning to their sanctuary. A dance toward home reborn. The thunder of hooves as grasslands regrow. When we give nature a chance, it comes back stronger. Now, we've reached a fork in the river. One direction leads to catastrophic climate change and the loss of life as we know it. Yet nature, speaking in wildfires, rising seas, and mighty winds, asks us to take another direction, toward restoration, resilience, and renewal. Since 1951, the Nature Conservancy has stood to protect and preserve nature in all its forms. And today, the stakes have never been higher. Neither has our ambition to preserve lands as vast as continents, to safeguard our waters and bring life back from the brink of loss, to harness the power of science, honor the wisdom of indigenous cultures, and support the courage of communities. When we work for nature, it works for us. Trees capture our carbon and purify our water. Coral reefs shield our shorelines. Prairies support the pollinators essential for our food. Nature never stops, so neither will we. Because when nature thrives, all of us do. So for every forest that stands and every field that sways, for every river that rushes and every wave that roars, for every insect that crawls and bird that soars, for the flowers that bloom and the landscapes that amaze, for the rain that renews, the sun that sustains, and the soil that gives and gives again, for the plants yet to grow, the streams yet to flow, the wildlife yet to be born, for every voice that speaks, for every hand that heals, for every heart that dares to hope, for the children of tomorrow whose lives depend on the choices we make today. To love this earth is to love our own beating hearts. We're the Nature Conservancy, and together we find a way.
Grasslands can be hard to explain to people. People understand trees and they understand mountains.
A lot of people would look at the Southern High Plains and call that flat.
They expect dust bowls.
It's easy to think it's nothing there.
The Southern High Plains is often seen as flyover country. For a long time, even people in the scientific community didn't recognize how important these grasslands were. I love working in grasslands because they're different every time that I go out. There's always something new to see. It's like being on a scavenger hunt every time I go out. Grasslands are one of the most important and yet underappreciated ecosystems worldwide. Grasslands are what feed us. It's where most of our crops are grown. It's also where most of our grazing animals are raised. In some places, more than 90% of the grasslands have been converted to agriculture. Grasslands that remain are also threatened by poor management and invasive species. Climate change is really pushing these systems to their limits. One of the reasons that we work in the Southern High Plains is because out here we still have time to save the grasslands. In a lot of other places, we're saving grasslands 50 acres, 5 acres, 1 acre at a time. And here we can still work at a scale of thousands of acres. %11 is not enough. That is not going to protect the ecosystems, the wildlife, or the human economies that depend on this region.
Joey and I are the 4th generation. Stewardship began then and went through my uncle and through us.
We have 2 daughters. Our youngest daughter lives here on the ranch with us and with her husband, Brady. And we have 3 grandchildren that live in our yard, which is such a blessing. It's just great to have them work day to day with us and teaching them our life, our lifestyle.
Ranchers are some of our greatest allies in this landscape because they often have generations of living and caring about the land.
Ranchers, private landowners, I think do care about conservation.
We have gotten a lot drier in the last 20 years.
In order to survive drought, and whatever the length of this cycle, you've got to be fully aware of how you keep grass above ground.
The easement has allowed us to do that, to fix those challenges in a ranch.
Conservation easement is a private property right contract between a landowner and a land trust that will become the holder of the conservation values of that land. You're going to decide what elements you're willing to give up as conservation values in exchange for either tax credits or cash payment. In our case, it was a split of both tax credits and cash.
We deal with drought, flooding, blizzards, and our wildlife has stayed healthy through all the changes in the environment.
We've seen the introduction of bighorn sheep.
To this day, there are over 400 head.
We rest assured that this is going to be an intact landscape well beyond all of our family's time.
Grasslands are really adaptable, but they have their limits. If we push them too far, we will run out of species that know how to survive in those particular conditions. And a lot of times it's not a single threat or a single activity. It's the combination of a lot of little things that just add up over time.
I think about the grasslands every day, every night, but it's the work that I love. It's upon us to be the stewards of the prairies. We have shifted them enough to where we are now responsible for the continuation of those grasslands. Smoky Valley Ranch is a working cattle and bison ranch. There's a lot of native prairie left. It's a place that you don't see much anymore. It's a beautiful, beautiful place that I can't fathom living without. Smoky Valley Ranch is the place where we've taken today's best science and we've implemented it on the ground. We perform annual breeding bird surveys.
Grassland birds are the group of birds that have decreased the most because birds need habitat, and if there are no grasslands, there's nowhere for these birds to live.
There's certain species, like the lesser prairie chicken, that we consider an umbrella species. If certain birds on the ranch are thriving, that's an indication that a lot of other organisms are going to be thriving as well. We're currently doing a vegetation inventory grazing with a rotational system where the grasslands see 80% rest during the growing season. Built up over many years, it gives us a big picture. We have not had a lot of rain this year. We are sitting at about 50% of where we should be on the year for rain. We've seen things get a lot more volatile. We've been planning for this drought all along. Through our moderate to light grazing, we've been able to stockpile grass. Through that stockpiled grass, it creates what we would consider grassland resiliency. This resiliency has allowed us to, make it through these droughts. It kind of gives a guy hope that there could be more places like these out there if we just start managing them properly.